Strategy games are having a bit of a moment right now, so let's dive into the best new and upcoming titles from the tactician's genre of choice. Life gives us heartbreakingly few opportunities to tell 400 robot tanks to go over there or destroy that big tower, and that's where PC games come in. Ever our savior to massage our inner megalomaniac, fill our screens with willing units, and challenge us with absolute domination. Strategy was in the doldrums for a bit lately, but the last few years have been kind, and now we're drowning in amazing sequels, remasters, indies, and genre-redefining life-sappers. And we still haven't finished our Age of Empires IV campaign yet. Give an armchair monarch a minute, would you? Here is some of the very best titles to keep your eye on in the coming months, and a few you can play right now. If you're new here, consider subscribing to get more like this from us, and to hit the thumbs up if you support the channel and show your love for our picks. Now, let's roll out the games.
Ha! Come and get it, lad!
3 games in, and the factions of the old world still haven't found a way to all be just mates. In fact, the various chaos sub-factions, the Grand Cafe, and the Ogre Kingdoms look even more committed to smacking each other in the face with sharp bits of metal than ever. With new tactical options like a toggle command for aerial units to ground them at will, and survival battle types that throw wave after increasingly difficult wave at you. There's also surprisingly deep customization for your Dark Lords this time, and an overhauled multiplayer that makes it easy to buddy up and embark on a whole campaign together. On an unrelated note, we haven't slept in 4 days now, and neither has our PC. In the words of Sean Bean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Which is to say, famous sayings voiced by Sean Bean are about the only thing from Civ 6 that Humankind doesn't carry over into its own 4X game. It's not actually a Civ clone though. In between the hex tiles are rich veins of new ideas, like a customizable leader who doesn't fit one country of historical figure, and a focus on developing a sophisticated, wide-reaching culture instead of a sophisticated, wide-reaching, massive army. A palate cleanser for Firaxis fans. We still can't believe it's finally out and we can just play it whenever we like. What a time to be a strategy nerd. Age of Empires IV takes the fan-favourite AoE 2 formula and sticks pretty close to it for the first main title in 16 years, and everything about it feels like coming home. And then finding someone's given the place a really good makeover. 4 campaigns and over 30 missions full of battle tactics. Economy balancing and rich historical detail are packed in here by developer Relic, who's also done a fantastic job with the look of the game, packing it full of graphics. Look at that, all the graphics, but also keeping enough nods to the old games that it also somehow looks retro too.
Here, on this hilltop, the fate of England would be decided.
Firstly, let's just take a second to acknowledge that this game's developer, The Aristocrats, has an excellent name. Okay, good. Now, Starship Troopers Terran Command is a good old-fashioned RTS with base building, tactical battles, and a good old-fashioned movie license, because that's just how things were done when RTS was king. It's a bug hunt, but a strategic one with true line of sight and true line of fire, which means your terrain position is gonna be crucial when the alien insect thingies overwhelm you. And if you already knew that this is a sequel to another Starship Troopers game from the early noughties, let's see you in the comments because that's some serious RTS knowledge. There's a lot to explain about Marvel's Midnight Suns, a tactical turn-based RPG with Marvel characters, CCG elements, and, well, look at that, we just explained it. XCOM meets Hearthstone featuring Doctor Strange is probably a reductive way to say it, But given that Firaxis, aka the team behind the most recent XCOM games, is developing it, and given that you're dealt a random hand of cards featuring your hero's abilities, it's not too wide off the mark. Firaxis has taken pains to stress that this isn't a microtransaction game despite the cards element. They're just a way of randomizing the fight. They're broken down into 3 types: attacks, skills, and heroic acts, which unleash super powerful attacks on enemies once you've built up the heroism to use them. It's a new spin on the turn-based template, and whether or not you've got a Netflix watch list full of Marvel movies, you should keep an eye on this one.
Nice job out there, kid. I mean, I didn't get Hydra bombed until my 10th run with the Avengers.
Kid? You do know that I'm a good 3 centuries older than you, right?
What would happen if Warhammer's most boisterous boys had a go at American football? That precise thought popped into someone's head 35 years ago when the Blood Bowl tabletop game was developed for Games Workshop. Since then, French studio Cyanide has been adapting it into a PC game that, hand on heart, often proves more thrilling than a spot of Madden NFL.
Ouch!
Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. I wouldn't want to be in that player's boots.
Then again, eviscerating opponents isn't looked upon too kindly now with the NFL's concussion protocols. This third game's been in development for a while now, and its creators are taking the time to get all the details and balancing just right, having delayed its ETA deeper into 2022 and run an extensive beta.
By Nuffle, I'm so bored. If only I had some Blood Bowl to entertain myself.
There's a great grim dark look to indie RTS Dustfront. It looks like Dawn of War 3 being showered in coal dust, and we're 100% on board with it. Given that this is the work of a small indie team, we probably won't be treated to StarCraft 2 caliber cutscenes telling the story. But the action itself looks perfectly pitched in classic Command & Conquer era strategy, all fast-paced unit rushes and gobbling up resources. There's also a deck building element in this game too, so it's not just Firaxis who thinks a randomized element or two adds to the enjoyment. In among the billowing smoke clouds and unit carcasses, there's actually a story unfolding, and it has multiple endings depending on your decisions. Welcome to the odder side of strategy here in Moduwar, where you're entrusted with control over an alien being who can split up its various organs, grow new ones, and merge different bits of itself together. I know, where do they get their ideas, eh?
Most unique, most fantastic beings in Arcadia are the Modu.
Despite sounding like a cheese dream, it actually makes a lot of sense in a strategy game context. The different body parts you grow after harvesting resources are like your units, and the base is your alien entity itself. You might deliberate the right mix of short-range units and artillery in another RTS, and here you're picking between projectile-firing appendages and fangs. Plus, the bigger you grow, the smaller you move. We love this one. More strange takes on strategy games, please. This next one's for anyone who enjoys loading up Ashes of the Singularity and just watching thousands of units go at each other for the sheer spectacle of it. Sanctuary is all about the scale of combat, pitting sci-fi factions against each other in preposterous numbers that are probably making your graphics card a bit sweaty just thinking about it. It's got big multiplayer plans, this one. 8 players in each map, up to 1,000 units, all with their own projectiles and a 40 by 40 kilometer map. I think it's fair to describe the scale as grand here. Sadly, it's not out for a while yet, but there's a beta coming next year. Retro Commanders next. Wonder why they've called it that. Truthfully though, although the graphics are absolutely on point with their 90s chic, this is otherwise quite a modern-minded strategy game with cross-platform multiplayer and co-op PvE, and even day-night cycles and weather effects. Set after an unspecified disastrous event, Retro Commander sees you marshalling the last of humanity's resources against an opponent that's and this is terrible news for humans, really good at building units and sending them your way. It's in early access now and looking to hit 1.0 within the next year. We're going out on a high with Manor Lords, one of the most ambitious and gorgeous strategy thingies for absolute years. This one's as much a city builder as a strategy, inspired by medieval Europe and set somewhere between the 11th and 15th century. The city building itself is gridless, so settlements build up a bit more organically than you usually see in games. Obviously, it's not all peace and harmony here though. So when it all kicks off, you've got infantry, cavalry, and siege units like trebuchets all smashing into each other in large-scale battles with pretty incredible detail. All the more incredible, this is the work of one solo developer. We can forgive Slavic magic that it's not currently available to play then, but it's coming in early access soon. There we go! 11 games that make us want to rule everything and crush dissidents with no mercy. Time for a chamomile tea, I think. While it's brewing, leave your own picks down in the comments for us to check out and tell us which of this lot you're most excited about. Once again, hit the subscribe button if you want more from us, smash the like button to help us grow the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.